Attention, small business owner, small law firm owner, whatever you are, you have an empire. But now ask yourself this question. Is that empire truly protected? Well, if it's not, or if you don't even know what I'm talking about, you need to listen to this episode, because on this Meet the Attorney episode, we're going to be talking about protecting your empire. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Law Firms, the podcast that provides you with all the latest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are looking to substantially increase your caseload in the next 6 months, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Law Firms. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Hump Day. I hope you guys are having a rockin' week thus far. Today is Meet the Attorney. You know, twice a month, we get to know these great attorneys that we use here in the great U.S. And today, it's even better because I'm going to introduce you to a topic of conversation that we had early on in the show this year, but we have not had quite some time. And before we get into that topic, I'm going to introduce you to the great Soroya Garner. How you doing, Soroya?
Hey, Frank. Thanks for inviting me on the show today.
Well, thanks for accepting the invitation because, we like to get to know our attorneys. That's why this series is called Meet the Attorney. But anyway, that's enough about what the show is all about. Everyone knows what that's about, but don't know who you are. So who are you and what do you do?
All right. So again, my name is Soroya Garner. I'm an attorney based in the Midwest, Indianapolis, Indiana, and graduated from law school 2020, passed the bar, and immediately went out to hang my own shingle where I focus on intellectual property, business formation, and legacy planning specifically for entrepreneurs and business owners. And our firm really has a focus on serving the underserved minority entrepreneur and business owner, just to make sure that we are providing that access to legal resources so that we can cultivate and build thriving ecosystems of business ownership and entrepreneurship. So that's what we're all about. We're very passionate about educating and providing resources to our community and just being a blessing.
Thriving ecosystems. Love it. Love it. I mean, you said a mouthful there, but that one really caught my attention. I've never heard anyone say that. So thanks. All right. So you started in 2020. That's interesting.
I know,
Wow.
right? Isn't it? At the height of the pandemic.
Is that when you hung your shingle? That's interesting.
I did. That sounds so crazy, but
talk to me about that. I'd like to get into that a little bit. What spurred you on to just say, I'm gonna do this on my own?
And you know what? Honestly, Frank, it has always been in my plans, even before I stepped foot into law school. So I knew from the jump that I was not going to go the traditional route and go work a job. I really wanted to build a space that, of course, would be an environment that I can thrive in, but also with an eye towards creating opportunities for other minority attorneys, because as we know, minority attorneys are few and far between. And so also having opportunities to climb that ladder can be a challenge. And so why not create our own table in a space for us so that we can be successful and grow and work in a way that is conducive and in alignment with our purpose here on this earth. And so in addition to that, I grew up around entrepreneur. My mother is a serial entrepreneur, and that just rubbed off on me from a young age. So there really wasn't an alternative option for me. It was like, own your own. And so that's what has always been instilled in me. So it wasn't like a spur of the moment type of decision. It's definitely something that had been in my heart for a while.
There you go. Blame it on mama. Anyway,
Yeah, blame it on her.
I love it. That's great. Pioneers like you inspire people like me because unlike you, I was not born into a entrepreneur family. It was very much the regular, you know, go to school, get good grades, get a good job, get your college degree, get a good job. That was
Yeah.
that's all I knew. And I had to learn this entrepreneurship. So kudos to you. Much success. So 3 years in, how's it going with your law firm?
I have grown so much just as a person, as an attorney, as an entrepreneur. It really has challenged me to push any boundaries that I ever thought I had. So it's been a fun journey. It's been rewarding and definitely looking forward to, what else is in store as we continue to grow and, become better at what we do.
Awesome. So getting to know you a little bit more, let me ask you something. Why, out of all practice areas, why the intellectual property area? Why that?
I get that question quite often because really IP is not like an area that a ton of people, like lay people, are familiar with. So that's a question that I'm often presented with. And again, it kind of goes back to my life's experiences growing up. It was really a culmination of exposure that I had as a kid and a young adult. So I grew up, first of all, in the arts. So I am a classical pianist and have been playing for over 20 years. So I just had a passion for the arts, and I understood the struggles that come with owning our creativity, your intellectual property, and being able to leverage that. So I realized those challenges. And so I wanted to be able to serve in that capacity, to be able to help creatives in owning their creative assets in their IP, their intellectual property. But I was also exposed to an attorney, Max Siegel. He was an entertainment attorney, and that really kind of turned me on to this area of IP and working with creatives and musicians and entrepreneurs, and just making sure that we're helping them to understand the value of their IP, and then, like I said, how to leverage it. So I would say those two things are what has definitely led me to wanting to practice in this area. But I would totally be remiss if I left out another influential factor, and that was as a kid growing up, I had so many opportunities to like travel across the country and specifically historic communities. So
Mm,
again, my mother, she, like I mentioned, is a multipreneur, and she
ah,
has a travel agency. And so we would go
mm.
on historic tours every summer and visit places like DC, Nashville, Louisiana, and just seeing all the innovations that we as Black people, minority people have given to this country, and even things that have been stripped and taken from us. It really made me passionate about being able to help our people understand why it is so important that we protect our innovations and our ideas, because it is so valuable, and everybody seems to recognize that except for us as minorities. So
Mm.
I am super passionate about serving in that area and making sure that we're understanding the potential and the value of our IP.
Interesting, interesting. Next time I'm going to invite you back. By the way, so I know we're not even scratching the surface of what we're talking about here. But the next time I invite you back, you gotta bring mom along. We gotta have a
Oh yeah,
mom
we're a
first
tag
time.
team.
We gotta have a first time ever mom-daughter interview at the Marketing Solutions for Local Law Firms. Anyway, going back into the regular schedule program, what we supposed to be talking about here, we haven't even talked about it, but let's the topic of today's show is protect your empire, the importance of trademarks and brand ownership. So let's dive into that a little bit. So I I was not, I'm in full disclosure here, I was not a big fan, or nor did or I shouldn't say that. I didn't understand the importance of that. So as when I grew, I started my business back in '07, and people were hitting me up all the time. Hey, you should protect this and the name and the this and the that, and I was like, I didn't, I'm thinking. I mean, I'm not IBM, right? I'm not Microsoft. I'm just a small little local guy creating a brand. So for people like me who are thinking like me, because I'm sure I'm not the only one to think like that, what do you say to someone that tells you that?
Oh my gosh. First of all, I hear that all the time. So you are definitely not the only person. There are lots of people that are a part of that school of thought who think that their, business is, just a small business. And why do I need to consider intellectual property? Well, we need to consider it because it is a significant part of the value of our business. It makes up a roughly 80% of the value of typical businesses today comes from their intellectual property or intangible assets. And so IP is becoming increasingly more important, more valuable to businesses. And especially as we are operating in a digital age, we can see more and more why our ideas, our innovations, our IP, our creativity is so important. So I think that it is absolutely crucial to have these conversations to shine light on why we need to not only identify what IP even is in our business, because people get caught up on the term intellectual property, right? It's this fancy word, but many people don't even know what it is. So we first have to understand, what is IP? How do we protect it? Why should we protect it? And then how to leverage it. So that is so important as we're operating in this digital space, in this digital world. IP is so valuable, and it does make up a significant part of the value of your business. So it's absolutely crucial to consider.
Now, let's say, okay, so I'm just starting out, and I meet someone like yourself, but I'm not, I want to name my company something and I want to trademark it or whatever. Is it wise to trademark something that may change? The reason I'm asking you this question is this business has gone through 3 name iterations, and this is the longest stint of my iteration of my company. So if I were to if off the, off the beginning of the business and I trademark that, wouldn't that hurt me in some kind of way?
No, it wouldn't necessarily hurt you, so to say. But if you know that you're not 100% committed to your name, then I would say you probably would want to hold off, but you may also want to ask a question to yourself. And although you may not be 100% committed to that name, and you may be thinking that you're going to make different iterations to it, ask yourself, would you be okay with a competitor showing up in the marketplace using the exact same name or a similar name as what you're using? If you're okay with that, then don't trademark it. But if you would feel some type of way about it, then you absolutely need to invest in protecting your brand for sure.
But that's a tough one. And again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I believe in what you're saying, but I'm just playing devil's advocate because I know this is in the back of other people's mind as well. I'm a big advocate of the whole, you don't know what you don't know, right? So at that moment, when you're starting out 1 year, 2 years in, you're not sure how in love you are with your brand yet. You don't really have the intelligence really to know if this is going to take off. Is it going to be worth to trademark at that point? So that's really my question, because it's hard. Because I struggled for the first 5 years of my business, right? So that's a part of the reason why I kept changing the name,
Yeah.
but like how would you advise someone like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what I would say first off is many people I have that same experience where they're struggling in their first 5 years of business. They're not really sure if they're going to stick with or not. They're just trying to figure it out, right?
Yep.
And so, IP or trademark really should be considered even still. And it's more than just about whether or not you are committed to the name or you're going to stick with the business, but you also have to think about, since you are in business, you want to reduce liability and protect whatever business it is that you are working to build, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's also not only about being on the offensive, you want to be on the defense too when it comes to protecting your brand and your IP. So, you don't want to start that business, right? And start it on unsolid ground. You could be opening yourself up to liability if you start a business and not consider these IP or specifically trademark protections. So, what if you started a business, right? You selected this name, failed to do any IP due diligence, and come to find out maybe year 2 or 3 that there's already an established brand that had the federal rights to that name. You are now sitting open and vulnerable to receiving cease and desist letters and being forced, right? You now don't even have a choice of whether or not you want to change your name. You could be forced to have to change your name because you are overstepping someone else's already established rights. So it's more than just considering whether or not, you're going after trademark protection just to ensure that no one else uses your name moving forward, but you have to make sure that you're not overstepping someone else's established rights and opening yourself up to liability. And as a small business that's just getting started, that can definitely be detrimental. So
Mm.
I think that's another perspective that needs to be taken into consideration when we think about IP protection.
Now now you just spurred on another line of questioning here that I have for you. So just into your services, so people get to know you a little bit more and how you can help them. If that's the case, if one of your clients, let's say, gets a cease and desist order, do you help them litigate that or protect them, or like what is the extent of your services?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question. So our practice focuses solely on transactional, but if it rises to the point where litigation is necessary, then at that point we would have to pass you on to one of our trusted referral partners. So our firm does not handle litigation. We focus solely on transactional to keep you from even having to deal with litigation. That's the whole point, is to make sure we set that solid foundation and infrastructure so that we can avoid having to face litigation as much as possible.
Gotcha. So if I come to you and I say I want to trademark this brand, your team does the research and says, well, that's already been taken somewhere in California or somewhere
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
Now, do you go? Is it also from a global perspective? Like let's say there's someone in Europe that has the name. You do that as
Right.
well?
So we don't do international at this point. Our focus is purely on the domestic side within the United States. But if you are a global business, right, operating beyond the United States, then you definitely need to consider international trademark protection wherever you're going to be doing business to ensure that your brand is secured.
And you have people that you could refer someone if that's the case?
Yes, I do actually have a couple contacts for that.
Awesome sauce. All right. All right. So tell us some of your best stories in these last 3 years since opening up your firm. Give us a story that you're most proud of thus far in your career that you think, wow, I really helped this client.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey guys, I hope you guys are enjoying today's content. While I have you on here, I want to introduce you to a promo that we have going on for the spring of 2024 for all legal practices throughout the U.S. I have an outstanding offer that we've never been able to offer before, but we want to do it because you have been an avid listener. We're only promoting this to people who listen to the show. So if you're an attorney and you are an avid listener to the show and you're thinking about possibly opening your own practice, you want to pay attention to this announcement. We are offering a full website with hosting, SSL certificate, online booking service, online appointment management, and more, and much more, with a 1-year maintenance, all for $2,250. That's $2,250 one-time fee, and you have a full-fledged website. If you want to know more about this, just give us a call at 888-416-7752 or send us an email at info@lbmsllc.com. Just make sure that you mentioned that you heard it on the show, and we'll definitely get you that discount. So with that, I'm going to bring you back to the content.
Yeah, you know what? I would say I feel like I find the most fulfillment when I go out and teach. So, bringing this information to entrepreneurs that have no idea what intellectual property even is truly a joy. And I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm out and about in the communities teaching. So, I've had wonderful opportunities to be able to speak on amazing stages. So I think that has really been awesome for me, is going out speaking to, workshops in local chambers and on national stages even. It's been great. And I feel like just being up there and informing people about the value that they have in the brand, in the business that they're building is truly awesome. So I have a client that's in the tech space, and he's developing awesome technology to be able to provide access for minority communities to invest in real estate. And he's doing that through an app that he's building. So I'm not going to share too much about that, but I feel like that is a really awesome opportunity where we can make investing more accessible to the everyday, American, and really create opportunity where we can advance our families and our community. So I'm really proud of what he has going on, but also I think all of my clients are awesome. So it is truly a joy to be able to serve in a capacity to help them ensure the ownership and the protection of the brands that they're growing, because they're all doing wonderful things for the community.
Yeah. And you're in Indianapolis.
I
correct?
am.
Now, but you serve everyone throughout
I
the
do.
U.S., correct?
I do.
Okay.
Mhm.
Gotcha. All right. So, let me ask you this question. If you were to, if as you know, this is a marketing show for attorneys. A lot of attorneys listen to this show. Do you serve other attorneys who want a trademark, do want to have some sort of do you do that?
I do. Yes. I have several clients that are attorneys and obviously work in different practice areas. So it's been a joy to serve my fellow attorneys and help them ensure that their law firms are protected.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there ever a time that's too late for protection?
Yeah. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. For sure. So yeah, if you wait around thinking, adopting that mindset that I'm just a small business, you're wasting valuable time, and somebody else could jump into the marketplace with a knowing that they need to protect their brand and secure those IP protections. If they beat you to the trademark office, right, and secure those federal rights, sure enough, there are ways that you can fight that, but it's going to be difficult. So you want to make sure that you are realizing the brand that you're building and the value that's behind it, and jump in and protect it. Because if someone else beat you to that trademark office and they secure the federal rights to a name that's similar or identical to what you're using, it could really be an uphill battle for you to try to get those rights to the name. And sometimes it could be impossible. So
Awesome sauce. So, so what's next? What's next for your firm? Like, what are your goals? Tell us. I mean, you've had some great success in these last 3 years. What are you inspiring to do? First of all, is it just you, or do you have other lawyers in your firm? I
and
know
you know
you
what?
work with your mom.
That goes exactly to the question that you're asking me. So
Gotcha.
right now, I am the only attorney. I do have like virtual support staff that's helping me to, run the operations and serve the clients. But truly, I see entrepreneurship as an opportunity to not only improve like the life of my family, but also the community, right? And so my ultimate goals, several years out from now would surely be to have a team of attorneys that I can create opportunity for. So really it's about advancing the community, creating those opportunities in a safe space where we can operate and work in our genius and serve the community. So definitely looking to expand the Soroya Garner Law family by adding on some attorneys to the team. And I work in more so providing the vision and the leadership for the firm, and really being out in the community to provide that information and access to legal resources.
Awesome. The only thing that I don't like about this platform right now is that this is an audio show, and the the audience won't be able to see, at least from this platform, the passion that you have when you talk about the law. I've had many attorneys on the show. Yeah, I have not yet to see that type of passion. So I'm glad that you have it. So I know you will achieve those goals that you're seeking, without doubt. Just keep that. And plus, and also you light up when you talk about teaching. So it looks like that's another huge passion of yours. So that's good. Awesome. All right. So what is the website that people can go and check you out?
Sure. So for anybody who's interested in tapping in, staying connected to us, you can definitely visit S as in Soroya, garnerlaw.com. So that's sgarnerlaw.com.
I will put a link in the show notes for that. But let's talk about that a little bit before I let you go. I know you're a busy woman, but I want to dive in on this. Who is? I mean, I know you said small businesses, but let's dig a little deeper. Who is that ideal client that you're looking for?
Yeah. So again, it really goes back to serving the minority community.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that I'm really passionate about that demographic. As you know, we have definitely been the last to the table for opportunities, for resources. And I really am passionate about the advancement of Black and minority entrepreneurs to
Mm-hmm.
really provide them with those resources, because it's oftentimes they don't have the legal insight that they need in order to build that sustainable infrastructure for their business so that they can be successful and that they can make it past that 5-year mark where most businesses die off. And so it's really crucial that I feel obligated to share this information about how to structure your business properly, how to protect your business from liability and make sure that your intellectual property is protected. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, for me, it's all about creating legacy. How do you want to be remembered when you transition out of here, right? And I feel like entrepreneurship is one of the most effective ways to go about doing that. And it really is an impactful way to advance and to positively affect families and communities. So we really have to have an eye towards serving one another. And, the entrepreneur is truly who I am passionate about and am dedicated to serving.
And so once you set them up, because excuse my ignorance here on the whole IP thing. once you set them up, what is next? What else do you do? Is there anything else you can do for them, or it's basically you set them up with their trademark, their copyright, or whatever? That is it a one stop thing,
It
or
shouldn't be. It should not be. So, getting that registration, whether it's trademark or copyright or whatever the case may be, having the ownership of it is one major part of it. But we also want to have discussions, ongoing discussions and planning sessions about how do we now leverage our ownership of our intellectual property. So that may look like talking about licensing deals, right? How do we license our intellectual property, right? Strategic partnerships. What are ways that we can make money off of our brand and our know-how, our IP? So that's an ongoing conversation, and we really work to have provide strategy to our clients on how to make the most of their intellectual property.
I like that.
Yeah.
Glad I asked that question. Anyway, I think that's all I have for you today. I have a couple of other questions, but I don't want to make this interview too long. And I want to leave room for when your mom comes, because I got to see the mom. I want the first mom-daughter combination on this show. But anyway, that's coming down the pike, I'm sure. But before I let you go, Soroya, is there anything I did not ask you that you think would benefit the audience?
You know what, Frank? I really think that we have done a great job at covering some important topics today, but I would leave my fellow entrepreneurs and business owners that are maybe just getting started to avoid taking shortcuts. So I like to tell my clients, when you take shortcuts, you get cut short. So be very careful about trying to cut costs in certain areas in your business where it actually may be critical. So definitely understanding and having those advisors on your team that can help you avoid roadblocks in the road to, keep you back from attaining that success for your business. So do your due diligence and invest in those areas that really matter in your business so that you can be successful. And legal is one of those areas.
100%. But I love it. When you take shortcuts, you get cut short. That is an awesome ending to an awesome interview. Really, really love that. All of her links will be on the show notes, guys. You got to get to know Soroya. If you have anything that you think of that you think needs protection in your business, in your law firm, or anything like that, reach out to her. She's going to look into it for you for sure, and she's going to advise you accordingly. So with that, I am going to put an end to this episode. This has been Frank Deming, the local business guy, and you've just been blessed by the great Soroya Garner. Take care, everyone. Until next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Law Firms, the podcast that provides you with all the latest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you would like to know more about the topic we discussed on the show today, reach out to Frank and his team at 888-416-7752 and schedule a discovery call with one of the marketing consultants. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, send an email to podcast@lbmsllc.com and we will put you on the schedule. With that being said, until next week, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.